a.m. June 4th, 2023, 10:25 a.m. Um, Actuality, snares or traps. And I hate talking about these topics because I feel like I'm reprimanding myself. And as I say this, I look at the sign that says discipline's the strongest form of self love. But for those of you that don't know, this morning I went to the restroom and I noticed that, it's time for the cycle to begin soon. And I know that because there's a variety of symptoms that happen that lets me know that, hey, it's coming. And over the past few years, the symptoms have come in different order. You know, at one time, I didn't have any symptoms at all. Then, towards my mid to late 20s, I would get extra. Um, uh, what's the word that I want to use? I would during in my mid to late 20s, I would get extra. Um, my erotic sensibilities would be super, super peaked. I mean, everything, anything would just make me peak. So, but then in my older years, it got to the point where, like in my still in my late 20s, early 30s, mid 30s, like right before that time would happen, my moods would get crazy. The way that I eat would get crazy. It's like I would eat. Um, everything. I like devour everything. Then the next week I wouldn't eat anything at all. Then a few days right before the cycle hit, my hormones would be all over the place. If you look at me the wrong way, a weird thought would come to mind. And when I say weird, I mean something else. And then, then my cycle would drop, and then I'm in my cycle, so I'm tired and all that. So it would be like for some women, for me, it's like I would be abnormal for most of the month due to my cycle, right? Abnormal in behavior and everything. So if you're abnormal for most of the month because of your cycle, does that mean that you're really abnormal, or is that just the norm for you as a woman? So it might just be the norm. But lately I've had the strangest feeling. Over the past 6 months or so, um, I haven't been getting peaked like that. I would notice different things like, when that time is coming up, I have to shower more often. Like, on the regular, I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'll shower once a day. Sometimes I'll skip a day or two if I'm depressed. Yeah, yeah, I'll skip a couple days if I'm depressed, and it wouldn't be a real big problem. But when my cycle is coming up, it's like my body pH changes, and no, it doesn't smell like funky vagina, but it's like it smells like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like a musk. You know what I'm saying? And it emanates. You know, but it's like, I don't know how to say it. It's like maybe it's pheromones. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But what ends up happening is I have to take a shower. Once is not enough. I need to take a shower at least 2 to 3 times a day during, that's the time coming up to my cycle. Then when my cycle finally hits, I'm okay until it's heavy. Then of course, then heavy, you need to do a little more too. But I was okay. I haven't had any peaks in those types of erotic thoughts or anything like that, you know, at all. And I was okay. I really was okay. Even today, I was okay. And you guys know that in the background, actuality is different reasons why it would come up for me. As y'all know, one of the reasons will be if I'm really, really stressed out, or if I can't go to sleep, it'll help me go to sleep. It's not for the purpose of being erotic. It's for the purpose of, it's kind of like a sedative. You know what I'm saying? Because whatever hormones it releases, it relaxes you, and I can go to sleep. Use it for that. But what ends up happening is that I think when you're younger, you're more hyper in your thoughts about that. So you can have these imaginings. And when I say fantasies, they're not always erotic. There's just imaginings, and I'll share some of those with you guys later. But what ended up happening was, you guys know that I'm going through a real stressful thing, and I'm getting better. I'm getting better slightly, and when I say better, at least now I'm cognizant, like where I'm able to work through this stuff, and it's not like, oh my gosh, I have to take 5 minutes away after doing a task and get my mind off of it by doing a game or something. I can now work more steadily because I'm not as distressed, because I see the light at the end of the tunnel. I see where it's coming closer to completion, right? But I have different things that help me, when I get stuck. And when I get stuck, mean emotionally stuck, working on this because, oh my gosh, this is so difficult. There's so much. And if you're going through a stressful thing, please write it out. Like I said, the writing thing has been taken away from me, and I don't necessarily like everything on a computer. But whatever can. If you got to type it up and write it out, if you got to blog about it, write it on paper, get it out. Because whatever you don't release, it stays a part of you. You are holding it to you. You have to release it one way or the other, right? So shout out to all the people that write books. But anyhow, so as I'm thinking, well, I'm not gonna say this right now. I'll say that another time. But as I'm sitting here, so I have typically what it is I'll have like a version of Scrabble going on in the background, um, and I don't touch it until like I get to the point where something's really distressing me, and I have to divert my attention away from it. Like I said, it's almost like when you're working on the computer all day, you divert your eyes away because you put a strain on your eyes. If something's really you know bothering me about the portion of the employment thing that I'm working on and I have to divert my eyes, I'll make a move on the Scrabble game. And then typically, like if I'm really, which I am, like I say on a scale of 1 to 10, how stressed I am about things. Damn, I thought I just redid that this morning. Um, if I'm typically really stressed about things, I'm at a level 8. If I'm at a level 8 of stress, I need to have something in the background if I'm on my personal time, right? I need to have something in the background to kind of divert my attention that I'm not really focused on. Like if it's something positive, I'm gonna focus on it because I need positivity. But if it's something that's kind of midstream, like maybe Tasha K or maybe, a crime series or something in the background, then that kind of just lulls in the background. It's just background noise. I hear it, and your mind in unintentionally receives it, but I'm not. It's not something that's making me put my full attention to it, which is really weird because what it really means is what the world needs now is love. And so when I see loving things, like when I watch Tim and Chia's vlogs, I have to give my full attention because I like seeing love. I don't see it anywhere, and for me to see it there, it's great. Love or understanding or camaraderie or people just getting the fuck along. And then I'm going off topic now. But then when I look at that, also I see why I would never be in a relationship, have a good friendship because Chia is beautiful, but the stuff that Tim does, first of all, he's not that attractive. And attractiveness is not everything because he pays the bills. He's got everything done. But and then on top of that, I'm suspicious that he's a little down low with, his some of his male friends. And then the third thing about it is that, and she handles it all really well, but he farts on camera, with her, or he talks about any dude that talks about pooping in his pants and is serious about it. Nah. But I love their relationship and I love that for them and I love that, they get along well together. He had a girlfriend before her and, she's more like I am where, he look at a girl the wrong way, she's upset. But he did admit he was a different person then. But it's good to see people, getting along together. I don't care if you're in love or just friends or whatever the hell you are. It's good to see that. I don't see that, especially in my personal life. And when I look out and about, I don't see it via the things that I typically watch. But I know that most of that stuff, even though there's truth in that, there's truth in other ways of being too. And I think Tim and Chia live a life that's kind of the truth. I don't think they have anything to hide. But with that being said, the point of all that was that I have stuff in the background while I'm working in case I get stuck or get emotionally traumatized and have to divert my attention away from the main task. And every now and then, when it gets good and stable, I'll throw a little chat in there. And this chat, before I used to look down on it because I was like, oh, this chat is all like perverted people. And I don't have any problem with perverts as long as you ain't hurting nobody. But sometimes, you're not on there for that. You're there just to chat. And I was doing pretty good. I was there just to chat. But have I had my moments where I've had conversations that were um, a little questionable? Yeah, I have. And what ends up happening is there's one particular person that when they show up, just when their name shows up, my mind already has flashbacks, right? And so, but typically, they're probably the feds too. But typically, what'll happen is that if I don't answer, they're very picky too. If I don't answer a question the way that they like, they disappear. But this time, I was like, I can answer that question, and so I was like, I'll just make up a whole bunch of stuff, and so I did. Um, and and then because I was engaged with this person and all the flashbacks or whatever, then what happens is that every other person that I talked to, which they were all part of the demographic that I like to chat with, which are black people, which are preferably male black people, you know, that can hold a conversation. All these were good, decent, regular ass conversations. Then here comes this person, and it's not their fault. It's not their fault at all. They're like soft sensual, where they catch you by surprise, you know. And if you're not on guard, or if you are easily wavered, you're done. So, um, and I'm not an angel all the time. Okay. So, this person comes in, and I know where the conversation's going, even though it doesn't go straight there. I know where it's going to go, but I'm just like a cat and mouse. I'm just watching to see what's going to happen next. So he asked me for something. I give him the information. He asked me for something. All innocuous information, by the way. I give him the information. And then next thing you know, and he always start with something so simple, so simple that you wouldn't catch it, you know. Um, but anyhow, yeah, you always start with, but he is respectful. I have to say that. But then next thing you know, you get into this conversation with this person, and you already have a conversation with 10 others going, and then it's pulling me away from what I'm doing, because once you start and get into that mindset, you can't stop until you finish, right? So, you're talking to this one person that you know is going to mess you up, but you don't think that they're going to go there, because they ghosted a couple of times because you weren't answering the questions where they like. And you were okay with that, but you just wanted to see what was going to happen. But they didn't ghost because you answered simple questions, even though, you didn't answer them as openly, because it's just all fantasy. You didn't answer them as honestly as you normally would. And then next thing you know, because it takes a while, you realize you still have these other conversations going on, these good, clean, up and up conversations. But then next thing you know, like with the chat thing, what I do is, because I don't like typing the same thing over and over again, I'll just copy and paste whatever I say, so that, it's just a background thing. It's not a main focus. But then the last thing that I copied and pasted, you know, was, a little long and a little iffy, marginal as far as appropriateness. The next thing you know, because it's easy, I'm copying and pasting it to these other people that have nothing to do with that. And these people, you know, it's a thwart. Like, we're having a good up and up conversation, but they're being respectful. They're hinting that, they wouldn't mind moving the conversation here. But you bring the conversation back to the middle. But now all of a sudden this other person comes that, you know, that you have had memories of in the past. And so now it all just changes, where now it's just a finish line to get to the end, if you know what I mean. So it's like, even though these people were not originally involved in this type of conversation, and you were having great, normal, seemingly normal conversations with movement, you never know if it's really normal or not. You don't know what's going on in the background for real. But so you having these, seemingly normal conversations, and then the ones that kind of alluded to something else, you paste it whatever you said before in this other place, and now it's on, and it's not their fault that it's on because it's your fault, because now that this other person that brought those memories back came up, you're just trying to get to the finish line so you can close out the chat altogether, because now you don't really want to chat, you're just trying to get to the finish line. And so you have all these different types of chats, which you're okay with. Most of them are okay on the up and up. Some of them are a little on the border, and usually you reel those back into the middle when they get a little bit out of hand, right? But then you come to the finish line and you're done. You've come to the finish line, and then you have all these chats that are going middle. They're mid range. They haven't gotten to the finish line, but you're ready to close out. But you want to still, just check it real quick. You can put together a nice book from these chats, by the way, a nice book of erotica. But you go back to, because you just want to see where it leaves off at, and then you realize one person that was kind of marginal has gone way over to the other end. And normally you would respond and say something back so you can pull them back to the middle, but you're finished. You can't. You can't. It's just too, you've already exhausted everything, so you can't go any further. You have to close out. So you close everything out and it's left there. How do I feel about that experience today? Normally I feel really bad about it, but I don't, because I understand it. I understand what happened. That wasn't an intention. I wasn't using it because I was stressed out. It happened because somebody that I had an interaction with before, mentally, verbally, textually, or whatever, flashbacks came, and I was like, okay. And I didn't think, and that's the thing. That's how you can call it the devil if you want to, but it's all the same. But that's how the ops, if you want to call it that, works. They come to you subtly. It came subtly. Like I wasn't expecting that conversation to go there, because typically there were, the way that I am. You ask me something, I don't want to answer it. I don't answer it. I don't play no games with it. But then again, the flashback came, and I was just like, well, it's not gonna be me he's talking to. I'm gonna make up something else. But do I feel bad about it this time? I really don't. And I don't feel bad about it because maybe the initiation of it was different. It wasn't like out of misery, like, oh my gosh, I can't go to sleep, so I need help. So whoever I chat with, it wasn't that. It was somebody that I actually enjoyed interactions with previously, for one, right? And then for better or for worse, I don't know who this person is, but all I know is that they're black or perpetrated supposed to be black. The second thing is that I don't feel bad about it because I was still able to be productive. Right after I was finished, I closed that out. And actually, I'm more productive than I was prior to. The third reason I don't feel bad about it this time is because typically, when you're in that rut where you need to get to the finish line, either to expel energy because you're tired, you want to go to sleep, but you're too wound out, or for whatever reason, you're trying to sedate yourself and put yourself to sleep with that, right? Let me put you to bed, put yourself to sleep with that. Um, for me, if I'm not really into that, it'll take hours. Like literally, it'll take like 6 hours, and that's awful. That's too much time. This probably took about an hour, and it wasn't an hour of just that. I don't think. But I don't know when I actually crossed over because time goes by so fast to me. I thought it would be a lot later, but it's not. And I felt bad. What I did feel bad about is having to vlog about this. But again, all of my experiences I want to share because somebody else might experience it. But also, it's like a photo album of my life, and these are very real things, real human things in my life. Just like when you have a newborn baby or a child, you're celebrating. Oh, Maria turns one. So I'm celebrating that, hey, Maria is a middle-aged woman, and this is what the types of hormones and emotional experiences and mental stressors that this 47-year-old woman has. It's not true for everybody, I'm sure. But this 47-year-old woman with this type of existence has, and I think it's really interesting to me. If you're into anthropology or humanities, I think it's interesting and fun to study different people and how their lives are. I think my life, I think everybody's life is really interesting, but I think mine is too. If I have another lifetime, who knows what the way technology is, maybe I'll go back and be able to sit and do nothing but review all my videos and critique them based on my experiences. Because I think this is so unique. This is a very unique experience in my life. And it's a shame that I'm scared to talk about it. I'm not really, I'm gonna say scared. I'm not scared to talk about it, but it's a shame how. Remember how when we were younger, if you grew up or were a child in the '70s, your parents would always say, "Well, I'm grown. I can say what you want." We all grown now, but we can't. We can't. Everything is filtered. People are saying unalive. You can't say that S word. In real life, it's crazy. Not to be able to express yourself. But I feel good about the way that I'm expressing this because I don't think it's convoluted. I think you guys understand exactly what I mean. Can somebody take it and turn it around and make it something derogatory? Hell yeah, they can. But that's on them. I think this is such a beautiful experience. I'm enjoying experiencing these things, as a middle-aged woman, and I'm really enjoying that, you know and I'm enjoying watching my progress of how this stressful situation, employment, and I'm watching how I'm managing it and handling it, and the hurdles that I'm going through, and the snares that could happen, and I'm watching how God or the universe may or may not put things into effect, to let it all work out or not, and I'm okay with it as long as respecting the little goddess in me with the little g, that I'm doing everything that I can to feel vindicated, to make sure that I have everything out there and do the best I can. And if I fail, so what? We all live and we all die. We all turn back to dust in the end. But just the fact that you had the courage, the courage, and it's not just you, it's the spirit or being or God within you, the courage or the wherewithal to even try, despite all the odds. But sometimes you have to come to that breaking point. Like I said, it's we can't keep going on repeat because it's the same exact thing. It's like different jobs and different people take the position spots of those different people. No, we're not doing. No, and then it gets worse because then people can see that, oh, we can say whatever we want. This is gonna be on the record. We can say whatever we want. No, no, we need to tell the truth and get it out there. And I'm kind of thankful for that legal situation and then being caught under homelessness because Now at this point, when it gets to this breaking point, middle age, where it's like it's not the hope where okay, well I'm still young, I have a lot. No, I'm not still young. I'm middle age. I'm halfway towards death, the natural death. You understand me? And so it's like at this point, it's like do or die. Okay, if somebody else in the youth and prime of my life can get me in a situation where I'm quartered into a homeless shelter, then I've experienced those things. And whatever God has in my path, you know, I can do that for me. If I allow somebody else to do that wrongly for me, you know, and whatever the situation is, I can handle it. Even if I can handle it, I can handle it. I think, I don't know because, like I said, I watched some of these crime shows and these people, with these I survived. Some of that stuff is crazy, and but in a way, I'm being prepared a little bit because, like I said before, it was a time in my life where I wouldn't kill a fly, a roach, a bug, especially a palmetto bug because it's so big. I wouldn't, attempt to hit a rat because that thing is big and hairy. But now I will attempt to do all of those things if I have to. I may be more scared of a rat, yeah, but I'm still gonna do it. The worst part of be holding me back is I don't want to knock over any equipment or anything and break that because my equipment is the closest thing that I have to a friend right now. Like I said, I confide in my Scrabble and my YouTube and you know it's the closest thing that I have to a friend. You know, so I can't. And I say that because, like I said, it's what I use to help me when I'm stressed out. You know, what I use to communicate. Is what I use to do any work. Now eventually, I would prefer to be exercising or something like that. And again, just want to share that, just that revelation. I feel a little bit bad because I feel like I'm taking too much time on this, which I am. How much time have I? Oh, it's been 21 minutes. Yeah, but I just wanted to share that, that little revelation about actuality and, just this little portion of a middle aged woman's life. And it's kind of like you can see the growth and development or the lack thereof of actuality and how I feel about it. And there's development and growth in that part because at one time I remember I felt so guilty and I still would feel guilty depending on, like I said, what the base root of it is, why it happened, how long it took, and what the lasting impact is. The impact on this wasn't all bad. It was okay. Um, Now, how do I feel about the people that were left hanging in the lurch? Because I know that doesn't feel good. They'll be okay. They'll get online and see somebody else and they'll be all right. So, but anyways, I'm gonna finish this up. I am enjoying this. I'm enjoying it, and this is improvement. And part of me wants to feel bad that I'm enjoying this now. Talking about the employment thing because it was so stressful and so hard for me to get started and to do it. And then some of the parts when I got to it, it stressed me out so much. I had to make a move in Scrabble. I had to watch something. I had to distract myself from it and then come back to it. But now I feel a lot better, and part of me wants to feel guilty for feeling better because the thing about it is you want to claim like, hey, it's mental illness, and it is to a certain point because it stressed you out so much where you can't work. You know what I'm saying? It stressed you out so much where you're just like, hey, y'all just need to, but it doesn't have to be that way. You can work towards healing, and I'm getting better now. If you had just got me like yesterday, day before yesterday, all the stuff that happened, and it depends on the moment. It changes. Something else can come to change it. That's how life is. Life is not stagnant. It's dynamic. It's ever changing. There's going to be things that change your moods, your thoughts, your opinions, and how you feel. And you can either work positively towards getting towards those positive things and enjoy the successes, even the little successes. Like I'm happy now about where I am with this, or you know, you can just allow yourself to stay in the rut. I'm glad that I'm not in it. I'm happy about the way that things are coming together in my life, and I'm positive that it's going to be good. You know, I feel good about it, and I'm not going to feel bad about feeling good about it. I feel good about it. Will I feel bad again? Maybe, but right now I feel good about it, and it's a well-deserved feeling of feeling good because of all the work and effort that I put in mentally, spiritually, physically. I won't say financially, and not well, really not physically, but all the effort that I put into knowing that this is a pain point for me and a pressure point, and having the wherewithal to let God in or whatever in to make me say, hey, we're gonna get this done. You know, because it looks like it's going to happen. Now, what would be stressing if it doesn't happen? But it looks like I'm getting there. I'm getting there. It's happening. It's happening. But anyways, that's all. I've been too long-winded on this, but yeah, that's all. That is all. didn't mean to do that. Oh, I didn't want to be on camera. And why don't I want to be a camera? I don't know. It's like sometimes I just don't want to be. I just don't want to be seen. You know. Um, and part of me too. The other reason I don't want to be on camera right now as well. You know, because everything's the same as you guys normally see it and are accustomed to seeing it. It's because part of me feels like you know how there's a butterfly and it goes into a cocoon. I need to feel like I need to be in a cocoon. You know, nothing's changed here. Everything looks the same as it normally looks when you guys see me. I look the same except for my afro. You know, but it's like I want to be in that cocoon because I feel like I'm going towards a situation where I'm going to progress and things are going to get better. And I want to come out of the cocoon. So I want to block off, you know, I don't want to be necessarily seen right now. You know, I want to be felt. I want you to feel my presence, my energy, who I am. And for those that care to listen, I want you to listen. I want you to listen. And I want you not to see anything but this white shell or dark shell, whatever happens to be covering the camera at the time. That's all that I want you to see, you know, um, until I've fully healed and I'm able to spread my wings and fly away. Until I'm able to spread my wings and break out of the cocoon. Right now, I'm in the cocoon. This is a safe place for me where you know, and I talked about this before in my younger years as well about how, you know, like the process of conception. And that's what being in a cocoon is too. It's an alternate form. Oh Lord, we're about to start getting long and deep and stuff. But it's just an alternate form of conception. You know, in order to conceive, you have to do things in the dark. You have to have, you know, something, the energy inside your soul or your heart has to proclaim it. You have to go in the dark and do this in the dark, and you have to cover it up and keep it hidden so that it's protected. You know what I'm saying? So that it's protected, you know, from the outside spirit and environments and all of that. And that's what this is. This is the cocoon. You know, I, I'm in the cocoon right now. Not literally, not literally. Though with the pestilences I get sometimes, I wonder if a spider's going to just build a whole cocoon around me. But not literally. But you know, meaning that you know, even though like I'm sitting here, y'all saw me briefly. I didn't mean for that to happen, but you saw me briefly even sitting here like this with my eyes open, it's almost like there's a veil over my eyes. Like even though I see, I don't see. You know, it's like I'm not seeing the physical. You know, it's I don't know how to say it. You know how I remember when I was in the homeless shelter. You know, you could look and you could be somewhere else. You know, like you're not really here. You're not. You're inside of yourself. You know, it's like I see, but I'm not seeing. What I'm seeing is all spirit based. It's not. When I say spirit based, nothing spooky or creepy, but meaning that it is all coming from seeing with my heart and my soul the essence of my being. It's not from what I see with my eyes. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I want to, when I'm communicating without being seen, that's what I want to be seen. You know, the things that cannot be seen with the eyes, but with the spirit. You know, I want to be seen spiritually, you know? But anyhow, I am going to go because it is now 28 minutes, almost 30 minutes, and I got to get back. But and I always used to say, I love y'all, but I love me. But when I say I love me, it means that I love you because I can't love me without loving, you know, without loving my existence. And our existences all bounce off of each other. We're all a part of each other. But, anyways, I love me, and you should be happy that I love me too. Because if I love me and the better I do for me, the better the world will be around me, right? And the better able I'll be able to, you know, just send positive energy in the world. I talked about how Tim Changtarasaru Chong Ta, it's not hard. It's just that I'm not used to seeing name. But how his dad, they were playing this game, and he asked, you know, do you think I'm successful? His dad says, was your level of success, what you deem successful, is different than mine. Dad's idea of successful was, hey, that you're just a good person, but you know, and at the very least, that's what I used to have, you know, and I don't want that to change where, you know, not only am I not successful in the world's eyes, but I become a bad person too. That's really some effed upness, and that's not where I'm trying to be, you know? So I'm going to flip the script. I'm going to be in this cocoon. I'm going to get it together. I'm going to address this issue, and we'll see how it works out, you know? We know there's no guarantees, but we'll see how it works out. I mean, what else am I doing but living, right? So we got to do the best with the life that we got and trust our own instincts. We're giving our own instincts for our own reason. We can't live by somebody else's instincts and what somebody else wants, right? Learning to love yourself. Learning to love yourself. Today is love of all. Anyways, I'm going to finish up. Bye.